Welcome in. This is Sportsify. I'm your host, Matt Novak. Alongside me, as always, Grant Hawker.
Always.
On the third mic tonight, wearing the enemy's uniform, Jamison DeFore.
Best receiver in the league.
And joining us this week, our good buddy, Mike Connor, who is also sad about the fact that our team turned the ball over 4 times on Sunday and committed all kinds of stupid mistakes.
Did we also lose like 12 more guys to injury? I'm pretty sure.
Something like that. Yeah. Knees, ribs.
Matt,
I'm only slightly
Lord.
joking there. I'm only slightly joking.
Matt, I think that the governor of California needs to take up a fund to just build a ER wing attached to Levi Stadium at this point.
Seriously, they should put it in like right over here. This is one of the tunnels is over here. It was just right there.
It's
like
just easier.
Real nice ER setup so we can get just surgeries done right away. We'll fly in. I know it's not Dr. Andrews anymore, but whoever are the ACL specialist is.
Have them on
over
retainer.
here. Yeah.
49ers just have them on retainer.
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point.
No, they're just there for Sundays. That's are you kidding me? That's a team doctor now is like the lead guy on ACLs and any other muscle-related injury. We'll get to that maybe a little bit today, but we got a lot to get to, and I want to hit it right out of the gate. The talk of the weekend, the dumbest thing that is it should never happen in football. Unfortunately, in the regular season, it is possible. We saw a tie happen on Sunday night in a game that honestly ended in this weird, I'm going to say fitting fashion for the way that it was played. The Cowboys and the Packers go at it all night long. Micah Parsons is supposed to be getting his revenge, plays pretty non-consequential most of the game, did save the game at the end, I will say, from his team getting an L by grabbing Dak right there at the end, forcing a field goal late in overtime. But, man, we went 4 quarters, and I don't know if you guys know this, but some guy named Aubrey can kick the ball pretty stinking far. Did it again. We go to overtime, and still that guy can kick the ball pretty far. But this head knocking the whole time. Crazy throws by both quarterbacks. Love played great. Dak played great. I was not looking forward to that at all as a hater, but back and forth. And then in the end, 40-40 tie, and we all go home and go, that doesn't seem worth it after 4 hours of football. That's just the worst feeling that you can have after watching football is a tie.
And we back it up, right? Because most of us are like Oregon fans or whatever, or at least some of us like the Oregon teams. And
2-3.
Right after the Ducks beat Penn State in, what was it, like double overtime, triple overtime, whatever it was.
Awesome game.
Their overtime is way better than the NFL's overtime.
Better.
Dude.
So much better.
The NFL needs to look at this and be just like, we're just going to steal this and throw it in our games. Everyone would if you would have just done the same thing with that Packers-Dallas game, gone into 3-4 overtimes, but it's so much shorter because you don't have that 10-minute time frame that you're worried about.
Dude,
it would have been best
on that,
TV
Mike.
ever. Would have been best TV ever.
I agree, because literally, like, everything that the NFL becomes started in college football. Okay, you spread offense started in college football. It's the minor leagues of the NFL, if you will. And everything good comes from it. I don't know how we can't learn this lesson. We've adjusted special teams, done all this kind of safety stuff. Which is interesting that college football hasn't done some of that yet, but there's all these different safety things. Targeting came from college football, and by the way, should have been called in the Oregon-Penn State game. That
doesn't matter.
Absolute trash.
Who cares
We're
who
going to talk about it.
won?
Anyway, but all this stuff happens in college football, and it moves up. College football does one thing extremely well. The overtime is amazing. And it is absolutely grab the popcorn, much CTV, blood pressure through the roof the whole time. And it happened to me Saturday night. Then we get to Sunday night, and we got to watch that.
I think, too, just listening to it was obviously the talk of every sports pundit and that kind of stuff. Is this also not what we've asked for when we complained about sudden death? Like, knowing that this is probably the result with sudden death, it is whoever gets that touchdown. Now, granted, in this case, no team's got a touchdown. But I just wonder if they were playing with that kind of mentality. If the Packers were more, hey, we got to get this touchdown, not settle for a field goal and settle for a tie. Would we not get this just meh at the end? And also,
listen, we're stupid fans, though, okay? We're stupid fans. We're not thinking about the repercussions, what we say. We just look at the thing that we don't like, and we say we don't like that.
Yeah.
Not thinking, we'll get a tie later. No, none of us thought that. We also thought that after a team scored 37 points in regulation, that one of them could maybe score one more touchdown. That's just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, with overtime, I 100% agree. Like when it comes to college, like I will, if I'm watching a college game and it can go into overtime, that's the ideal outcome. When I'm watching an NFL game, if it goes into overtime, I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, are we serious about nobody wants to watch an overtime like that? Literally, unless it's maybe a playoff game, because there's got to be a winner that comes out of here at some point.
Because it can't end in a tie.
Exactly. And I think there are multiple problems with overtime here. For one, I think it was pretty clear that at some point the Packers were playing to not lose instead of to win the game, which can't happen in college overtime rules. Like you have to be aggressive, you have to score, you have to get that 2-point conversion once you go past that first overtime. But here, like the just simply tying and not losing is like more valuable than trying to go win the game, because if you try to go win the game and you lose, then you have a loss, and that means more to you than a tie does. Like a tie is honestly good sometimes for you, because you just, when it gets to the end of the season, you are counting up your losses, not necessarily your wins. But with college, like the reason why I am always like flabbergasted why we don't look at something like that is, one, like a 10-minute overtime, that's just like 10 minutes more of football that you have to play in a regular season, where you're already trying to play more regular season games and people are already getting hurt, and it's a boring product and you can still tie. Whereas with college, it's okay, you're playing less in overtime because you get a possession to try to score. And if you do, they have to answer that. If not, the game's over.
Game over.
And you both get the ball, which was, I think, like the biggest thing for a long time that everybody hated about overtime is not only is overtime boring, but you go to overtime, you win a coin toss, you kick a field goal before they changed that rule, game was over. Now it's okay, if you score a touchdown first, then the game's over. But if you kick a field goal, you get the ball back. And now it's like both teams get the ball, but it's still like all of these things are like a worse product than just simply lining the ball up. You get 4 downs, you get 4 downs, whatever the situation is, and you go. And I also think that makes things a little bit more interesting when you ultimately look at these teams and the quarterbacks on these teams, and you say, hey, like Eagles, for example, like you have 4 plays to go score a touchdown to maybe a 2-point conversion. Jalen Hurts is not really throwing the ball right now, so you really don't want to go into overtime. You have to play the end of the game a certain way to avoid this scenario, or coach a different way to not lose in overtime, or just try to play for a tie. So, yeah, we could go on and on about overtime, but it is like such a bad product. Injuries, bad football, ties, like all of those things
everyone's
could be so easily fixed.
Yeah,
exactly.
And for anybody that would also cry, if you do that, if you go to college overtime, it takes out special teams. The NFL, as we talked about last week, already trying to take out a lot of special teams, and they are trying to make field position to the benefit of the offense. Clearly, there's no denying that. It's 100% like we want more points, we want to score. That's what gets the involvement from the audience. That's what gets people to tune in. So I love what college football does and the excitement of it. It's also such a do or die product because there's a limited amount of games. There's conference play that is head to head with those major conferences. One loss can sink you out of the opportunity to play for your conference championship, which gets you the automatic bid into the college football playoff. If you're in the Big Four, 5, whatever, the Big Four. And so it's just awesome, just everything matters type of feeling. With the NFL, we know that really good teams are going to lose 5 games. Like, we know that's going to happen. To play an extra quarter and get the lackluster result, lame. It really is. But I will say, in terms of the game, the Cowboys don't take the loss. Big deal for them. Definitely a big deal. That's a little bit of momentum for a team that seemed to have not much at all. George Pickens, holy cow, had a great day.
CD who?
Awesome day. He did a little bit of that, but we know that's what George is. It's the rise and fall, right?
Oh, yeah, he did drop
that
a
guy
ball
one
too,
day, 1 catch, 18 yards. Next week, 2 touchdowns, 128. He's a big play waiting to happen all the time. He's a special player when it comes to catching the football. 100% he is. But which version of him are you getting? I don't know. Nobody does. But again, rest of the game, entertaining as could be. Questionable decision-making at times by coaching staff, some of the players. I don't know what in the world. I just praised Jordan Love for having a great game, but I don't know what he was doing holding on to that ball that long. They're in overtime. I know he saw a linebacker with his back to him was going to take a shot into the end zone there, and I'm just looking at the clock going, no, let go of ball. Throw the ball. I'm doing what everybody in Green Bay's doing. Throw that ball. Hits him in the back with 1 second to go, and they still got the opportunity to kick the field goal. I appreciate going for the win, but he almost messed that up for them. So there was a lot of all that good stuff in that game and loved it.
Prescott had that crazy throw to, what was that, Turpin?
That was Turpin on the sideline.
Dude, that's insane. Like the off the back foot. I think that was the most impressive throw of the week.
Oh, the sidearm to it,
dude,
going out and rolling to his right.
Dak has been balling out.
He has to.
Throw.
He's recognizing that the only way that they're going to ever be in games is he's going to have to throw for 300 plus, throw for 45 times a game.
I mean,
got to score. We said that they were going to have to score 40 plus points a game. Guess what, guys?
Yeah, we were like,
they didn't get over the Bengals
light.
plus.
But they did not lose.
They didn't lose.
And honestly, the Cowboys might be the Bengals, and the Bengals might be Bengals light right now.
Yeah,
for real.
Keeping it a buck. Like,
for real.
Yeah, Dak is dealing, but they're giving up 40 points a game.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that Dallas defense seemed to step up a little bit when it mattered. Like, obviously, the Green Bay Packers scored 4.
That was 40 points, Mike. Easy.
They're having a problem running the ball.
It was 40 points.
The Packers aren't running the ball well against those Cowboys, and everybody was all like, "Oh, Jacobs is going to come to this game and just run the ball," and they didn't. Right, so you got to think about what's going on with the Packers a little bit.
The Cowboys did go get a run-stopping defensive tackle from those Packers. Okay,
it's true.
It did show up,
and I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but they
show up.
And then also, the Cowboys have the worst secondary in the NFL. That's what you're going to attack.
I mean,
when you play
they're allowing the most pass yards a game at nearly 300 kingmakers for the quarterback, as we talked about. But yeah, they're still averaging over 420 yards a game allowed by the Dallas Cowboys.
And my defense of the Cowboys is that the Green Bay Packers couldn't just run the ball out to win the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the Cowboys didn't let them, right?
Yeah.
And so that gave them the opportunity to make sure they were in this game the whole time. I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, that's not okay. If the Packers want to really compete, they've got to be able to run the ball out when they got a lead. And they haven't been able to do that.
At least Josh Jacobs can catch the ball, right? So it makes up for it. I was going to say for those of you, to put it in perspective, for those of you maybe not thinking about it, when we say almost 300 yards a game, that's a 5,000 yard quarterback season. Is 300 yards a game. That is astronomical when it comes to yards per game. I don't know. We'd have to look it up, but I don't know if anybody has ever allowed 5,000 yards. I know we're in the 17-game schedule now the last couple of years.
I mean,
but
we did talk about
might
how
have to look up
historic...
a team's most passing yards in a season. We can look it up in a moment. I want to get to some other games. Interject it, Jamison. I know you're checking.
I do want to say one thing. As much as you said this last thing, as we talked about, like how this is kind of maybe a momentum up for the Cowboys. If you're a Packers fan, you are ticked off because you lost in a heartbreaker last week, and then you couldn't put it away against this abysmal secondary like we're about to show you. Like, again, not trying to live with the moment. We talked about how impressed you were with the Packers for the first 2 weeks, but I'm not feeling the same way I am now. I'm not saying they couldn't go off and reach glory, hoist that Lombardi come February, but I'm definitely like, I don't know right now because you lost to the Browns and you tied with the Cowboys. And if you said that 3 weeks ago, you'd be laughing.
I would have laughed. I got on here and talked about how everybody should just go do something else with their life if their team happens to be playing the Packers this season because they looked unstoppable. And they've taken a break the last few weeks.
They sure have.
So I think the Lions have done their thing and rightfully are sitting atop that.
A little rise and fall.
Yeah. So I did find, does anybody have any guesses of what team it is and how many yards it was?
Can you give
I will say
me,
it's in the modern NFL
okay, that's awesome.
Since the 2010s.
Since the 2010s?
Yeah.
Is there a couple of those Browns
However, this
teams
data goes back to 1933.
Is it one of those Browns teams that's won 2 games?
I'm going to say when the Packers went 15-1 back in the early 10s.
Wait, no, he's talking most yards.
Given up.
Most passing yards allowed.
Yeah,
allowed.
I'm saying those Packers were bad in the secondary.
Matt?
You think it was a winning team?
Yeah.
Wait, was it the Chargers? When they were like,
I'll have to look it up.
Was it that Chargers team?
I'm gonna tell you. I
have the numbers
right
for the Packers too. I'm pretty sure that Packers team was like
Matt. Do you have a guess?
Bad. On passing yards.
I just feel like there's a few teams that it's supposed to be.
It's not.
So
I guarantee you, it's not. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go Raiders for fun because they've had some terrible defenses, and I don't know what year. I'm just throwing out a team name.
All right. As per usual, Mike was right on. It is the 2011 Green Bay Packers. They allowed 4,988 passing yards that year.
Okay, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was going to be like in the 4,600s.
My hat is off to you, Mike.
Nope.
Freaking
No,
real.
I remember that
swear
15
to
one
you,
year
his
was so bad.
Chat GPT hooked onto his computer and it just looks up everything for him.
He's got a neuro
That
chip or
Stat
whatever. thing.
Muse 2021 Ravens are in second place at 4,986. The 2011 Patriots are in third place, 4,977 yards.
Dude, what did we do in 2011? Just take a break from playing defense?
The balls were juiced.
They were.
Was
Let's
that the
go
year the
for-
Packers won the Super Bowl? I don't remember. Remember they went 15-1 that year,
No.
but their defense was
20
terrible.
2011.
2010,
20
2011, yeah.
2011 they went 15-1.
Some of those passing yards, you got to think some of those passing yards are going to be in the playoffs though too.
The
So-
funny part about this is
It's
Aaron
regular season.
Rodgers that year obviously did his thing. He passed for fewer yards than his team.
Than they allowed?
Yeah, he passed for 4,600 yards.
That's so funny.
Okay, 4,600 yards is
Okay.
still a lot.
Okay.
Sorry,
I love the nerdiness
Anyways,
of that,
yeah.
but I know we got to jump into other things. Dude, that is hilarious. But I was dead on. I'm just saying. I was like, that's going to set a record. Just to put that in perspective here. I understand there's 17 games now. There were 16 then. But holy cow. If you're a Cowboys fan, just pray to God that something happens and you just, I don't know, find the other side of the rainbow, dude, because it's looking real bad in that secondary. But if Dak can keep it up, you always got a shot at least. Even against good teams. Let's talk about another good team. The Eagles look like the Eagles. I got to say, though, a lot of fight in the Bucs this weekend. That was exactly what we thought would probably happen is Baker would keep it super close. But you got to love the Bucs' effort in that game. And the Eagles just, as always, being them Eagles, man.
just bullied them. It just was able to come in towards the end and just outlast and bully them.
But I think it was definitely outlasting because the
Yeah.
Bucs just started really slow, and they just couldn't. They just couldn't get over. I think if there's another 5 minutes in that game, I think the Bucs could have come away with the win.
Eagles, I don't know if you guys saw this. The Eagles didn't complete a pass in the second half of that game.
No.
Yeah.
No, and I had AJ Brown, and that
AJ Brown had what one
Fancy.
catch or something for.
I was okay with
7
that.
yards?
Yeah, I
How
played
did
against
I
Mike.
miss
That's
that?
the reason I lost. Yeah.
And the last
did
two
not know?
games the Eagles
Wow.
have played, they had a first half against the Rams. Obviously, we know how that game ended. Boo-hoo for me. But literally an abysmal offensive first half against the Rams. And then I don't know if I would call it an abysmal just because of the sake that they won and they just had to outlast. And I don't know what their rushing stats were in the second half, but to still have 0 in the second half, it's pretty close to abysmal. That's a full game's worth of things in 2 weeks where each half is like Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, sure, you're 4-0. Yeah, it's great that you can win in different ways, but I still have some hesitations with this Eagles team.
Oh, dude, everybody does. We're all waiting for the house of cards to collapse, but all they do is float it, win no matter what.
But is this not to me? This feels like the 2023 season a little bit, where they started on this hot streak, played really well, or at least won games. And
because back then we were saying they weren't playing well, but
they were winning
Yeah.
games, not playing well. They fell into the playoffs against the Bucs actually because they had such a strong start, but they ended the year like 1-5, like 2-4, something like that, and then got just demolished when they got into the playoffs. To me, it feels eerily similar to that, where they're winning. It's not impressive. And I just wonder because it's saying the year coming out of a Super Bowl. Now, this time it's a win and not a loss. I get that. But still, we're like, they're winning games. It's not that impressive. And I'm just wondering, like you said, Jamison,
the
when
common denominator,
when that shoe might drop. I don't know. Because to me, though, I also go, this isn't like the Chiefs last year with Patrick Mahomes, where they have this elite quarterback who is like doing all of these things and they're getting it. And that's like the difference where people will say, well, the Chiefs last year were doing this kind of thing. Yeah, but Jalen Hurts isn't Patrick Mahomes. No slight to Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is not Patrick Mahomes. And so that's where, to me, I'm more hesitant than I am last year where the Chiefs were hating it, but recognizing greatness. This is just
and I'll tell you the common denominator here is that it's after the last Super Bowl where they lost their offensive coordinator.
Yep. 100%.
And they just have the talent on that team. By the way, this team drafts the best in the world. But they just have the talent on this team to overcome not great coordinators sometimes. And then Kellen Moore steps out and gets the Saints job this year.
Yep.
So they're dealing with just an in-house coordinator they just lifted up. And he's not doing good. This team does not look good. Their talent, they just have so much talent. You can't overcome it. Like that is what this feels like.
Cam Ward has more passing yards than Jalen Hurts, by the way. Just
yes, and offensive coordinator. It's the exact same thing. And once
he has
they got
less
to the
than
better
Will
teams,
Levis at this point last year, by the way.
yeah. And once
Disgusting.
this team gets into the playoffs, where like these teams are like really coaching up,
That's where
against a
coaching
single
matters
team.
even more.
that's what you're gonna. Could this be the same kind of thing? And I think it
Yeah.
could.
I think it
they're
could.
just
And
gonna-
again, I'm not trying to be a hater. I recognize they're great.
Yep.
And also great teams also do
just
win these close
so
games.
talented.
They do win
So
these close
talented.
games. You have to win games like this.
I grew up a football fan watching the beginning of Tom Brady's career, watching boring games all the time, check down city for literally 2 decades. And this is that type of stuff. It's nothing special. It's field position. It's a great defensive line, really good front seven. Honestly,
Yeah.
That's what's kept them in, which is really interesting when you consider how a lot of teams construct, like a lot of good teams, other good teams are constructing great secondaries. They're still constructing an amazing front seven that's built more to stop the run than the pass, if we're being honest. They get interior pressure as opposed to exterior. They don't have to do exotic blitz packages. They just play really good fundamental football. And by the way, the 2 dudes in the middle are terrifying Goliaths of death, and they have their way. And that's what makes it all work. And then on the other side, you got Lane Johnson, who seemingly will not ever retire, just anchoring the crud out of an offensive line that has its way week in, week out. Like, it is what it is. They lost a Hall of Fame center, the best one of all time. And they're still just moving people around at will. It's what they do. They win ball games. We're going to say that every week until they lose, and then we're going to come on here and be like, they suck. And then we're going to have a great week.
I told you.
Johnny's going to lose his mind, shave his head, or dye his hair pink, or do something awesome like that. But we'll celebrate whenever that happens. I got a couple quick hitters before we break into a special segment that Jamison's going to lead us in. I'll just touch on this really quick. We're not going to dig deep here. I want to just ask, why do you need to celebrate being in the end zone before you're in the end zone? I don't understand the desire to celebrate before you do the thing that you're celebrating. Jamison, would you care to elaborate? This is your moment.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to shout out the player of the game for the Rams, A.D. Mitchell.
There we
Just absolutely.
Who happens to be a
For us.
wide receiver for the Colts?
The other side.
Yeah.
Then
Which, by the
McVay,
way, I think
slip
that-
him a crisp like
I
Benny
think
Franklin.
the Rams had him in their thumbnail for like the week 4 highlights thing, which is brutal. But no, like genuinely, first of all, like when I was watching that in real time, I was like, no way he caught that. That's an insane play. Spins out of it, breaks out. I'm like, here we go. It's going to be one of those kind of things here with our little teeny corners. But I want to, obviously, it's a terrible play. You can't do that. He is responsible for pulling 14 points off the board in that game, by the way, with the other holding on the Jonathan Taylor run where he got out. In his defense, it's not a great defense because you still should just get across the goal line and score. It didn't look like he was trying to do anything too extra besides just like switching his hands just so he could like hold the ball. He wasn't going to do any crazy tricks with it, but it still slipped at like the foot line.
So bad.
And it goes through the end zone. And I went from like down here to all the way like we're so back.
Tell me, if he holds on to that ball and he walks in the end zone, he scores how many points?
Technically 6.
So
Then,
6.
Yeah.
And your team beat his team by how many?
We beat them by 7 points, 1 touchdown. And that would have put them up at that point in the game. I think it was it 13-10 or something like that? It was like in that realm. It would have put them up by more than a field goal at that point
Which
in the game.
changes the entire dynamic of the game.
Exactly.
It was I
I feel like that might have helped them win the game.
I mean,
and then also the holding on the Jonathan Taylor run also would have helped the Colts win
Jonathan
this game.
Taylor's like his really only like good run of the day gets called back
because he held.
because he's holding. So
The Colts sold.
kinda-
Like, holy cow.
they did, but you know
They
what?
played
Some
well.
good teams, they just win games. You know what I
But
mean? And,
I'm not taking away
Matthew-
from the Rams.
nope.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
my
that
goat
holy
Matthew
cow.
Stafford just coming in, old man, bad back. Let me just sling for 375 and 3 tuds.
hey,
Well,
hey,
dude,
listen,
there was those 2 plays, and then also the corner falling on the 2-2 Atwell.
that
game-
helps.
game-
His second
go-ahead
catch
game.
of the year, by
And
the
I'm
way.
just, holy cow, the Colts literally, here you go, Rams. We don't want to
Yeah.
win. You can have it.
That was, how convenient for 2-2 on that play. Not that anybody's going to catch him. That nobody's gonna catch
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. But
Definitely.
it was ridiculous. What a funny game. Like, genuinely, just what a weird game. Of course, that's the way the Colts get their first loss, right? It's just silly, stupid things. And they've been
Danny
things right.
Dimes, he had a resurgence from Indiana Jones, if we're being honest, through two picks in that game.
Face there, just Danny showed up.
Depending on what angle you see him at, it's Indiana Jones or it's Danny
Danny.
Dimes.
This is Indiana.
Yeah.
This one showed up today. Yeah, a little bit of that for sure. I want to get to another good one, though. Jackson Dart shows up. Oh, man. We were calling for it last week. Grant and I were like, how long are they going to wait to do this? And thank God the Giants pull trigger, get him in, because the Giants pulled the shocker of the weekend.
Yep.
Like,
Easily.
genuinely.
100%.
Get the win over the Chargers. That defense, Brian Burns had himself a day. Justin Herbert running for his life. Joe Alt, I did not care for that. We never celebrate injuries. Talk about it every week, it feels, and we love Joe Alt. Like, genuinely, that's a good dude. That's a good human being, and one of the best at his position in the NFL. The NFL's better when he's out there, 100%. And seriously, hope that recovery is much quicker than is being projected. But that was a little sad. But I genuinely, like, Brian Burns had a great game. Loved everything.
That defensive front just gave him fits the whole time. And the defense gave Jackson Dart short field. Like, they made it easy for him. Like,
Dart
the defense
did not have to do a lot.
No.
He did not. No. They got over 20 points, and really that's what it comes down to in the NFL. Get over 20 points, give your defense a chance, and they did. And Brian Burns comes through with some key sacks, pushes the Chargers back late in the fourth quarter, and they just can't overcome 18 points from the Chargers offense is not going to get it done in the NFL. Like, you just can't rely on that. Ladd still has not showed up. Don't know what's going on there.
Dude,
that's getting weird.
I texted it in our thread. Is Quentin Johnson a guy?
No. I'm not going to say that out loud.
Dude,
I don't think he's the guy.
Up for dropping the ball 900 times in his first few seasons. That's all this is. He's just
when he actually
good
played
on some stupid. Yeah.
But Justin Herbert's looking
Don't
his
you
way.
sit here and tell me he's good. You know he's not good.
I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying is that Justin Herbert is looking his way.
I think Justin Herbert was always looking his way. He just wasn't catching the ball.
But now he is.
At least because of whatever gloves they gave him and however Justin Herbert started gripping the ball differently. I cannot believe that he has gotten good. We saw him in camp this summer. Dropping over the middle nothings with no coverage in front of his face without jumping off the ground. He is not good.
He got clocked in the preseason. I think it reset his brain.
I'm just saying, I did advocate in Minecraft in a video game for Justin Herbert to put soap in a sock and then smack him with it. I did allegedly say that last year, but I'm just saying he's playing well. I have him on my bench in fantasy. If I played him this week, I would have beat Mike.
I'm sorry. Did you just talk about Justin Herbert going full jailhouse with soap and socks on Quentin Johnson in Minecraft and bring that into relevant discussion?
I say that's that way. I don't get in trouble for advocating for violence or anything.
Yes, you were. You literally just
I said it in Minecraft, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. If I say in a video game or I say allegedly, it doesn't count. No jury can hold me accountable to what I say. So I said that last year. And I'm saying I'm coming around. Who knows? Just saying. God's working on me. I'm learning forgiveness. I'm learning. That's what's happening.
Let me bring up something I said while playing Minecraft with my retarded friends at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't. No, I did
drop
not.
that right now.
I did not.
I say some wild stuff playing Rocket League. With
you're old.
You know who and you know who.
You don't understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
You say in Minecraft when you don't want to get in trouble for saying it. It's not because I actually think that it should happen in Minecraft.
Listen,
Unk.
Did you seriously just old man me right now?
Chopped Unk.
Yeah. I did.
The most ridiculous. Oh my god. Oh, we are moving on.
Anyway,
Jackson, let me give you a stat real quick. Let me give you a real stat real quick. And I know we've talked to this ad nauseum, so I don't want to bring up something we won't talk about for 10 minutes. But I do want to say, after that injury for Neighbors at MetLife Stadium, I went and looked it up. I added a bunch of things up. In the last 6 seasons that MetLife Stadium has been a thing, there has been 20 season-ending leg injuries in that stadium.
Dude.
20. Between Achilles, and ACLs, MCLs, PCLs 20.
You can't
Where-
tell me that that's just like coincidence. You know?
Do you know
mean?
what the
Like,
next
it's-
closest one would be? Like, do you have a set on that?
I didn't have a set on that.
Okay.
I just went in through. I remember looking at it that day, and I was like, I have to find out what happened. And then I didn't go back and look at the next
I would
one.
almost bet
But
all of
there-
those
there's
other
no
ones kind
way.
of average out,
I'm sure.
I
except
would-
for this one.
There's no way that. I don't know. That's like
Well-
averaging almost 5 a year.
Yeah. And
That's four major leg injuries a year
so
on one
bad,
turf.
dude.
can the players union not do something? I texted that in
We-
our thread. Like,
We
can they
have
not?
Literally,
They need
we've
to.
talked about this at nauseum. Like,
Yeah.
literally, it comes up every year. You're going to hear pundits talk about it for sure over the next couple weeks. We need one more to happen. We need one more
Yeah.
person to go down.
And then it'll be like the rest
And
of the
this
yeah,
becomes a
rest of the year.
conversation again. It's going to continue to happen. This conversation got loud when Reggie Bush went down in St. Louis. Okay,
Yeah.
because he sued the NFL post that for not taking care of players, and there is a settlement associated with that lawsuit. He did not win the lawsuit, quote unquote, but there is a settlement associated. And ever since then, everybody has attacked this. But that stadium in particular, there's something wrong with it. Like,
Money is
as
insane.
49er fans, we watched two of our best players go down in the same game from the same defensive line at that stadium.
In 2020.
That was Bosa Armstead, the same game. And legitimately, it's just stayed bad. I hate it. I hate having this long conversation about it. I really do, because it's so freaking frustrating. There's nothing we can do. We're going to keep saying the same thing. Get rid of turf. Get rid of it. It doesn't do anything. There is no benefit to it whatsoever other than it costs less for the greedy
maintain.
ownership. Dude, the Raiders literally install and uninstall grass every week in Vegas to make it comfortable for the players. Guess who's not missing from their team right now? All the guys that matter.
And also, think about how bad MetLife has to be for, speaking of the Raiders, when they played in Oakland and they shared with a baseball team and they played on half of a dirt field for however many years. You want to know how many times I had an injury pop up and be like, oh, wow, that really sucks. It seems to be happening here. I can't even remember it. And that was literally grass and dirt.
Yes.
And you're playing
It's
on
so
a,
much safer
a
to play on
turf
grass.
field.
It's so
It's
much
so
safer.
bad.
It gives it, and that's the thing is like what causes the injury. I've watched a lot of sports science cred on this. You want to go down the dark hole of YouTube, look it up, and do a sports science search on ACL injuries in the NFL, and mark turf in your search. You'll find basically the exact same thing I did. What happens is the cleat gets stuck in the turf. Okay. And they do wear different cleats. Yes, they're supposed to give more, but inevitably, because these people weigh a freaking ton and they go down with such force, they plant their leg, like the high profile athletes that they are, the high production people they are, with the speed and the force that they do,
Which
and
you
it
need to
sticks
plant.
into the rubber. It sticks into it. That's what the turf's made of, is a synthetic rubber. It sticks into it, and then they can't move naturally. The ground doesn't give on the turf the way that it does everywhere else. Now, when it gives, we get muscle-related injuries that are not in the knee usually. So you get pulls, you get strains. Hamstrings were very common pre-turf all the time. But we would much rather have a George Kittle 4-week hamstring injury than a Nick Bosa season ender in the first couple of weeks. Absolutely. All day, every day. The NFL product is better if the turf is not involved. The synthetic stuff needs to go. Let them play on grass. Let them touch some grass, dang it. And let the NFL and the players in of themselves have a bigger say in this. The PA needs to sue. I'm not a lawsuit guy, but save yourselves. These are major contracts these players are going to miss out on because of injuries like this. And what if Breece Hall had that injury this year? You know, not as opposed to before, right? Like he's on a contract year right now. And what if and he plays in that stadium every single week?
He's still
what
good.
if he gets that? Malik's getting that injury now. He's going to lose production. That means that his value comes down in the open market when he comes back. And I understand it's an ACL in the era that we live in. We should see him, if Brandon Ayuk is any kind of like measuring stick here, we should see him by week 4 or 5 next year. Should be a 1 year almost to the timeline injury recovery. But Malik Neighbors is going to have to go out and produce consistently no matter what, when this dude had already proved he was a baller. And now he's going to have to go do that again just to keep his value up. It's stupid what's happening. The Players Association needs to sue. Again, we have this conversation every single year.
Sorry for opening up that can of worms, but I mean, it
No,
needs
we
to be
need
said.
Conversation. We
When
didn't
you
even bring
have-
up Tyreek Hill, by the way. Dear God, that was horrible. I never want to see that ever again. That was gross.
He
That was
doesn't
the worst
seem
thing
too
I've seen
bust up
since
about it, though.
Adrenaline is a drug. We'll just say that.
Well, they
he
jumped
says
him
he was
some morphine in his
laughing
leg or
to.
something.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, yeah, he was hopped up on adrenaline, and then before they got him on the cart, I'm sure they
Dude,
were.
he said
Yeah,
he was
he was
laughing
feeling
his
pretty
head
good.
off to try and ignore the pain. Like,
don't disagree. Like, I understand.
Gotta
Probably the
express
best
something.
way. Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
that or you're going to see all of the words that we see come out of other people's mouths when they're in a lot of pain. But dude, his
That-
leg was pointing the wrong
That is
direction.
the Teddy Bridgewater injury that almost resulted in him losing his leg and not playing football.
Dude.
So best case
So-
scenario.
I kid you not. I looked up. I was watching the game and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, that's the nastiest thing I've seen in a long time. And my wife's what? I was like, I told her about it and she's like, send it to me. I was like, you don't want to watch this. She's like, no, send it to
She'll
me.
be
So I sent
fine.
it to
Yeah,
her.
your wife will be
She
fine.
looked at me and she's like, you shouldn't have sent that to me. I was like, you just asked for it. It was so gross.
How can she? Your wife should be fine. I know
No,
your
she
wife,
was
so,
fine.
like,
She was fine.
yeah.
But she was just like,
no,
she's like, you shouldn't have said that to me. That was
that
gross.
was
And I
pretty
like,
awful. We say this a lot though. Like a lot of these things appear to be career enders. Today already, they're like, "Hey, the surgery went fine. He'll play in 26." I'm like, okay, maybe because there's a bunch of people that he owes money to, but I don't know that he's gonna be good anymore.
Yeah.
Best comment I saw though under the video on YouTube was how are all his baby mamas are screaming how they're going to get their money now.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he could have been smiling so that he's realizing he doesn't have to play with Tua anymore.
That is
Yeah,
true.
he'll be done when he comes back. Yeah, he's yeah.
So I got out of that.
Hey, quick hitter on that one on that Giants game though. By the way, Cam Scatabo. That guy looks real good. He's gonna
Yeah,
get
he's
fast
fast
track
track.
just fine.
I loved him coming out. I was all over that during
What
that
a
draft
great
coverage and
selection.
stuff. Love Scattaboo.
I couldn't believe he fell that far. By the way, we
No,
need to make determination
me
on
too.
that. Are we saying Bo or Boo on this show?
They say Scattaboo, and I read it as
There's only
Scattaboo,
one O.
but
In college, he was Scattaboo as well. At Arizona State, they call him Scattaboo.
All right, that's fine.
The other funny thing I'll say about that is that when Jackson Dart had to come out for one game, Russ had to come on the field and they booed him for the one the one snap
You
he had to
done.
play.
You done.
They booed him. And I was like, yeah, this guy, yeah, he's done. He's
Yeah,
cooked.
by the
It's
way,
official.
that
It's
was
official.
before we move on from that game entirely, I do just want to say I don't have any love or hate for the Giants. I guess I'm neutral.
Yeah.
It does feel bad that as soon as you get Jackson Dart, Scattaboo is like starting to get some more carries, and then Neighbors all of a sudden goes out within. You had your little trio right there, and you got 3 drives together.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey man, Darius
Sucks.
Slayton next up. Let's see if he can catch
Yeah.
footballs.
Shepard still there? No.
Wandale Robinson, you got him too.
Yeah,
Robinson,
Wandale.
there you go, there you
Wandale
go.
would be your other one. I mean, Darius is going to get the targets though. That's for real. I'm. Well, oh, man, I really want to hit that. Dang it! No, just drop this. This is about to get weird in fantasy football. By the way, this is bye week number 1, and before we head out to our special segment, I do want to just give some. Hey, look for this. You definitely need to start looking at your handcuff opportunities right now. With all the amount of injuries going on, Cam's an obvious that should have already happened a while ago scenario. But I really want to encourage everybody, pay attention to the Texans' run game. Pay attention to Washington's run game. Pay attention to the depth charts for receivers. If you picked up Thornton from Kansas City, you're going to need somebody because Xavier Worthy's back. If you noticed what happened in Miami this week, Waller became a thing after being inactive. Dude came
Did
out
not
and
have
caught
that
2
on my
touchdowns.
bingo card.
I didn't because I flippin' dropped him right before that. I definitely stashed him and then needed the roster spot after an injury, so I went and got him. But also want to encourage, this is your buy low time right now, okay? And there's a few people that you want to start looking at. I have already made my move, so I'm not worried about it by the time this gets released. George Kittle is a target that you want to go after right now. I got him for Nick Chubb. Straight up for Nick Chubb, and that's because
Okay, that's because
running
that
back
person was
injuries-
dumb. I know. I was there
running
when
back injuries decimated the dude. They did. He had Tracy as his one. Okay, he had Aaron Jones, and I'm trying to remember his other one. What was his? I can't
But he
remember
also
all-
did it as a joke.
no. He had 2 tight ends. That's why he did it. He had Bowers and Kittle because he auto drafted because he's a dork. But if you can go get Kittle
Whatever.
before he comes back, that's a good get. You want to be watching the kicker game. If you've been like sitting there, oh, I'm just going to keep Cameron Dicker and it'll be fine eventually. Cameron Dicker's got about 12 less points than the top guys that are available right now. That's an entire game's worth of points that you're missing out on. And you got to, and I know that everybody gets weird about kickers. It's just a kicker. Kickers score sometimes 18 points in a game. So you need to look at the averages that these teams are kicking with and who they're going to be going up against. What are those teams allowing in terms of field goals? A lot of times what Sleeper, Yahoo, ESPN do is they rank points allowed and put that against the kicker. Don't look at that. You need to be looking at the amount of field goals attempted against that team. You're going to have to do some self-study on that. But those kickers are making a real difference this year, especially with tight ends not being at a premium. Hunter Henry, all of a sudden, most valuable commodity amongst the tight ends. Like, I was fortunate enough to get him at the right time. Somebody dropped him early, and I went and swooped in. Had 2 good weeks with him. Really, he's been worth starting 3 different times. And so you want to really look at where you can get points right now. Defenses have not been scoring consistently, but they've been scoring in chunks. So watch your matchups. If anybody's playing the Bengals, for the love of God, start that defense. You want to look at where the Lions are headed right now. That's a team you want to watch on defense. I'm giving out a lot today because I'm feeling pretty good. I scored 160 points in the A-League this week, so bring it on. And by the way, Grant, you and I in the Chopper League are separated by 0.02 points in overall score. But there's a whole bunch of stuff for you to be looking at in terms of fantasy. Just want to encourage you guys, make your moves, buy low in trades right now. Go look at guys. If you're going to go get Ladd, now is the time. Like, everybody's willing to sell that dude. Do not buy Odunze right now. Don't do that. Wait. Just wait. But go after some value that hasn't produced yet. I have a buddy that went and got Kamara today and was able to get Scatabo because he's only had the one good game. Scatabo, sorry. And he actually sold Odunze to go get those 2 guys as part of a package. I thought it was a brilliant trade just to go get some long-term green lit week 15, 16, 17. So if you've already got 3 wins this year, maybe you're 4-0, dude, go get some guys and look at week 15, 16, 17 and try and assess where you can move up in points just a little bit right now. Kickers and defense, easy place to do it, but go do some buy low trades. That would be my strong encouragement to you guys right now in fantasy. We're going to kick it over to Jamison. He's going to run us through a special segment.
All right. So as we say goodbye to Matt, I had something that I figured would be a good thing to talk about at this point. We are officially a month into the NFL. We've completed the first 4 weeks, and unfortunately, math doesn't math anymore with 17 games. So
it's not technically not a quarter.
Yeah, we can't have our first quarter report card, but that's effectively what this was. Is hey, there are things that are standing out now after a month of football that. Some of that is still smoke and mirrors, but I think there are a lot of things that we can take a look at and say, okay, this has now been a thing for an amount of time. I had a couple things I wanted to bring to the table first and then see what you guys were maybe feeling there. But the first thing that I wanted to do as I lead into this is actually a blind QB comparison, because this is what gave me the idea for this.
So you're going to give us 2 quarterbacks with their stats?
Yeah, two quarterbacks. I'm going to give you a couple of clues, and I'm going to give you some stats. I'm going to see what you guys think, because this was one of the first things that kind of stood out to me when I was like, oh, I was kind of just diving into some stats earlier today, and I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I knew that, but I didn't know it was like that. So I have 2 quarterbacks here. They play in the same division. They have a combined record of 6-2, and their stats are as follows. We have quarterback A, who has completed 74% of their passes, who has thrown for 988 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 109 rating. We have quarterback B, who has a 70% completion percentage, has thrown for 900 and I think that says 84 or 64 yards, either way, right in there, has thrown for 7 touchdowns and 1 pick, and now also has a 109 rating. Does anybody have any ideas who those 2 people could be?
Can you give us conference?
Or
is one of them Sam Darnold?
One is not. It is. I'll say it is the AFC.
It's the AFC.
Okay.
I didn't think Sam Darnold hasn't thrown that many yards. So that's why I was like, I think he's at 700 or 800 yards.
I thought he was at 9, but that's okay.
AFC.
You said
he is actually at 905. Sam Darnold is.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yep. And he does have a 70% completion, so you're not too far off on your estimate here. But it is in the AFC. Same division. 6-2 record combined between these 2 teams with these players.
So either both
6-2.
Both have lost 1 game or one's lost none. So they're a better team. So they're better teams.
Bills and Patriots. It's got to be May and
I was leaning Josh Allen on one of those. So
Josh
Yep.
Allen. Yeah.
okay,
As soon as you said same division, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Drake May.
Because I knew Josh Allen was 7 touchdowns to 1 interception so far this year.
Yep. Drake May completing a league high 74% of his passes, 988 yards, 7 tuds, 2 picks, a 109 rating, which is good enough, by the way, for him to be, I think, 5th highest. Yeah, 5th highest in the league behind Lamar, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and Josh Allen.
some good company
And
That's really good
for essentially his rookie season. This is essentially so they only played what, like 4 games last year.
If we're wanting to say, hey, here's your first real shot at taking the car keys at the beginning of the season and doing your thing. I just thought, as I was looking at that, I was like, wow, that stands out to me. And I always thought, even last year when the Patriots were playing pretty poorly, I thought he was a standout, and it was more of the, okay, are they going to let Drake May get killed on this team? And is something going to happen? And he's either going to get literally shaken up or just mentally start seeing ghosts like we've seen with Sam Darnold in the past, for example. But I've been really, I don't even know if I want to say pleasantly surprised, because I always thought he had some of that in him, but to be completing passes at the level that he is, putting up the numbers that he is, and ultimately to be 2-2 as you're starting to move into a pretty favorable part of your schedule here, I'm feeling pretty good about Drake May and the Patriots, if I'm being honest.
I think, and what's impressive is that he's doing this and also doesn't have the great weapons to throw to. You don't have like guys. Hunter Henry's become a thing for sure, but you don't have a guy really there.
Diggs is there, but he hasn't really done much.
Right? He had the one good game against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's the Panthers, so whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean much this week, but like they're like these afterthought guys. Hunter Henry, before this last couple of weeks, has been an afterthought guy. Stephon Diggs, kind of an afterthought guy. And he's playing really well. I just pulled up his stats too. Like, apart from week 1, he's had a passer rating over 100 in all those games, apart from that first week.
And he's at 8 yards per attempt, which puts him at like 6th, and it's behind like a bunch of gunslingers. Like Stafford's ahead of him, Jordan Love, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Lamar. Like those are the only guys ahead of him in yards per attempt as well. Like he is putting it downfield, and he's completing them at almost every 3 of his 4 passes are being completed to a receiver by committee.
Yeah.
And I drafted him as like my second QB in a couple leagues for fantasy. And I was like, there's a lot of hype, but I thought I drafted him because he's a runner as well normally, and he hasn't had to do that much. But I've started him the last couple of weeks and have been happy with it. So I'm like, you know what? If you got it,
he got you what, like 22, 23 points this week or something like that?
I think it was 26. I think it was 26.
Oh, it might have been a little higher.
Yeah, I'm really liking
it. Like I'm down.
It feels like because obviously he's like kind of like sneaky athletic in almost the same way that like Justin Herbert is, where it's like you have this incredible pocket passer, and then you forget that, okay, I'm just gonna like peel out here and get this crucial first down. It's this guy's kind of got wheels, and he's not really afraid to run the ball. And I think that's going to go a long way with the Patriots. So that was kind of the first thing that came to mind. And I just thought, if we're going to look at 2 people here, we're going to compare the 4-0 Bills and the reigning MVP Josh Allen, and in a lot of people's minds, like the Super Bowl favorites, to a guy who's, for all intents and purposes, in his rookie year for the new head coach, not really anybody that you can just say, hey, go feed this guy the ball and you'll get good numbers. He's just doing what he needs to do. And I think the tape backs it up as well. He's made some pretty spectacular throws and has really good ball placement. So it's like, maybe, and there were a lot of people who were like Mac Jones. When Mac Jones came out and had that rookie year, they're like, okay, we got
the Pro Bowl rookie year.
We got the Brady successor, and obviously that's not the case. And I don't want to, again, get too over my skis here, but if you're a Patriots fan, you have to be feeling pretty good about Drake May through this first month of football. And like I said, that Patriots schedule does get pretty favorable coming up here at actually, it might even be, I don't have their schedule right in front of me. Pretty sure it's within the next several weeks.
Yeah.
They start playing some. I don't know if I could say the words on this that I think would probably best suit who they're going to be playing. And they also, similar to the Bills, benefit from being in a pretty poor division outside of the Bills.
So and I will say that Patriots team too, just to bounce right off that, is if they hadn't had, what is it, like 7 fumbles from the running backs this year,
they would have beat the Steelers. They only lost by 1 score. They lost by 1 score.
3-1, maybe even 4-0 if they hadn't had 7 fumbles from those 2.
If they play the Steelers again tomorrow, I'm picking the Patriots probably 10 out of 10 times there. But that was kind of the first one that came to mind.
What else?
From there, this is one that's probably going to be more for Mike. This was the second one that I saw. It is Christian McCaffrey related. This stands out to me. He already has 100 touches through 4 games. The most out of anybody in the league by a pretty decent margin. And that would be on pace for the 19th most touches in a season in NFL history if he keeps that pace. So that would be 425 touches through a 17-game season.
That is a lot.
I mean, Saquon had a lot, but he didn't have close to that.
Yeah.
Saquon wasn't on. No, I was looking at the most touches. Pro Football Reference has a top list of the most touches in NFL history. A lot of those guys are not super modern day players for the most part. He would be right now, like I said, that would set him at like 19th most. The average age of the people in that top 25 of the list, by the way, is 25 years old, and he's 29. I don't know if he's turning 30 this year or where his birthday falls.
29, but, yeah.
But he would be the second oldest in that top 25, only behind Walter Payton, who had 426 touches in the 84 season, like I said, when he was 31. And the last time CMC logged 400 touches was 2019. He had 403 touches in his age 23 season. So I guess I don't have a measuring stick for, is this a concern right now for me? Is this let CMC eat? He's honestly, I think he has the 3rd most receptions in the league right now. So he's just eating in the pass game. And he's just been I
think he's combining for 125 total yards between rushing and receiving a game.
Yeah,
so,
he's doing his thing.
And that's where he's feasting, though, in the receiving, because his rushing is...
He's only averaging 3.3 a carry.
Which I think is his lowest.
He's got 200. Yeah, he's only got 225 yards or something like that. I have him into like 2 different fantasy leagues.
I don't think he has a rushing touchdown. I think he's got.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's got one of those yet.
And so that's tough. And I don't think. Here's what it is. Okay, I drafted him in fantasy in 2 different leagues. I have Brian Robinson Jr. stashed on my bench in all 3 of the leagues I'm playing.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable on a dude that is as injury prone as he has been. Now, his pattern is he gets injured one year and misses a bunch of games, and then he comes back and doesn't get any injuries at all. And then he gets injured again. That's his pattern. That's the way he's done for 7 or 8 seasons, whatever it's been since he's been in the league. But the Niners as a team can't sustain that.
Yeah, which was my
that's what I'm looking at. Is the Niners as a team can't sustain that. And I think you're going to find very quickly that now Brandon Ayuk's looking, it's going to be an extra month before he even gets to come back because he's not coming along. We did find out Kittle's doing well. He should be back here soon. But you're just like, Juwan Jennings has 4 different injuries going on right now. Like, this team is just so emaciated.
Well, I don't understand why they made that trade for Brian Robinson and haven't used him a whole lot. Like, he's got 22 carries. That's it through 4 games. That's not I thought they'd use him more.
I also thought that he'd be splitting some time a little more. Fantasy wise, I'm glad he's not.
Sure.
McCaffrey's got to be like 25 points a game. So I'm not complaining too much in that aspect. I am complaining a little bit as a 49ers fan saying, hey, you got this guy. McCaffrey's out on the field like 90% of the snaps this year or something like that. It's incredible the amount that he's out there. But the problem is he doesn't want to get off the field either. And at some point, as a coach, you got to be like, you know what? I got this guy. Let's switch it out a little bit. He knows how to pass protect. Brian Robinson Jr. knows what he's doing. He can catch the ball too. Like, he may not be as good as McCaffrey, but you can spell him. It's okay. And by the way, did we all forget, like, Isaac Grindo's on this team too? And what he did for the Niners last year while McCaffrey was out. So you're like, this team has other options at running back. Although there have been quite a few times where Robinson and McCaffrey have been on the field at the same time. And McCaffrey goes out into the slot. And he's been a slot receiver. And so you're looking at this. So they are using them. But yeah, no, you're right. Like, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think the 49ers can keep up this pace with their running back. I think they will run the wheels right off of McCaffrey by the end of the season, if they're still playing for something at that point.
Well, that's my thing. Like, if you want to preserve your guys so they're playing their best ball at the end when it matters more. And that's where I'm looking at, like, Brian Robinson's carries. He has 22 total, 9 against the Seahawks, which is almost half of that. And then it's 6, 2, and 5. I'm like, dude, use the guy more. Like, you send a pick to him, but also save your prize horse for the end of the race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
I don't know.
Because my thing is like one, it just standing out as okay, is CMC is obviously having a month right now, but like the eye-popping 100 touches of the people I would have expected that to be right now, I don't know if that's like the best. Now, both Sean McVay and Shanahan are notorious for just feeding guys over and over. To
Aaron
your
Williams had a
point,
bunch of touches last year too, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
fed him and fed him.
Or even just okay, we're going to feed Cooper Cup. We're going to feed Puka Nacua. Yeah, and it's a different kind of violence to feed a receiver versus to feed a running back. But at first I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I thought about it, I was like, that is crazy. This is a guy who has like double Achilles tendonitis or something like that. And he's 29. He's not old, but he's not who he was in his peak athleticism following all of those things. And it does just give me a little bit of pause if I'm the Niners to say, we've been able to plug and play running backs and see success, and people are like feasting off of these Niners running backs in fantasy or whatever. Like, again, just total plug and play guys. And I can't help but think that's with where the team is at. I understand you have to stay afloat right now, but I don't know, it was a little concerning to me to see that.
And that was my next point is right when you said that, stay afloat, is without McCaffrey, I don't think this team's 3-1.
Yeah.
Without leaning on them the way they have, this team's not 3-1. I've watched 3 of the 4 games, and I didn't get to see this last week. And as I'm watching, he's making those third down catches and for first down to extend these things. And the quarterback, everybody's like, oh, Mac Jones is a dude. I was like, Christian McCaffrey's a dude. Mac Jones is just checking down to him.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying anything like bad about Mac Jones. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do when he came in. That's great. He's a backup quarterback. That's fantastic. Brock Purdy did not play well this week.
I think if Mac Jones was in the game, I think they might have won because
Mac Jones was injured this week.
Yeah, but I wonder.
Brock Purdy is still injured.
He's still
injured.
Yeah.
So you're looking at this, you're like, what are you going to do?
It's a miracle that the 49ers were even in this game. With
the Niners could have won at the end there if it wasn't for that fumble. Like they were driving.
If this was any other competent team, I think they were playing against, because I don't think the Jags are that good. Because Trevor Lawrence didn't play that good. But if they're playing any other team, I think that this would not have been that close. Like as close as it was, where they had that chance at the end.
And I know we're going to do pick 'em later, but this is why I said what I said to you guys earlier about I don't even know if I want to pick this Niners game because I don't know if they're going to play. If they play anything like they did last week, I don't see how they beat the Rams. But they're still going to use McCaffrey's still going to get 30 touches. Like it's just going to happen.
So I say that basically to say I'm interested. I think we might want to revisit our Q2 report card in another 4 weeks and just see, okay, through 4 weeks, 100 touches. We're giving this guy the rock 25 times a game. That's a few too many here. Let's maybe peel that back. So I'm interested to see how that trends because, again, the pace for that would put him in a top 20 most touches in the history of the season after all of the things he's already been through. And the last one, before I want to throw it to you guys to see if you have anything that comes to mind for just, hey, what has officially stood out to me as this is crazy in the first month of football. This is my selfish one, and it's a Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua combination going on here because I would be remiss in this jersey to not bring up the fact that Puka Nacua is on pace for 2,125 receiving yards. And obviously don't expect that pace to hold in the same way that I'm not necessarily expecting that CMC pace to hold and end up having 430 touches this season. But for me as a fan, obviously I was excited, but I was tempering my expectations, understanding that Matthew Stafford did not do anything in the offseason. He's going in this weird red light thing, and then like people are like, he hasn't practiced this week. Oh, he did, and now he's like going back in this weird futuristic tube,
hyperbaric chamber.
I'm like, all right, here we go. It's already unraveling. Like, good thing we have those Falcons picks. But Matthew Stafford is slinging it right now. He has the second most passing yards in the league, only behind Dak, and he's only 5 yards behind Dak. And he's on pace for 1,000 more passing yards than he was last season. Because as a Rams fan, basically since the Super Bowl run, the story with Stafford is he's either been hurt or he's going to average 230 passing yards a game, and that's just how he's going to make the plays, but he's not going to light you up in the box score or anything. He's averaging about like 275 passing yards a game, which is not what I was expecting. And we played a couple pretty decent defenses in there. So that was just another standout for me. Again, selfishly as a fan, like for one, Puka is on 2,100 yard pace ridiculous. He's averaging 125 receiving yards a game. And Matthew Stafford is on pace for a 4,800 yard passing season. Again, I don't expect those things to hold, but with where we're at in the first month of football, that's not how I was expecting us to win games. That was a standout.
I picked Kyron Williams in my fantasy league because I thought you guys were going to run the ball. I thought you guys.
We do have the best rushing success rate in the which is kind of crazy.
Yes, you guys are doing very well, but you're
it's
extending the
tandem.
Yeah, you're extending the safeties back so that your runner can. So you're doing, instead of running the ball to set up the pass, you're passing to set up the run at this point, which is a good way to do it with Puka Nacua. I put this in our little notes. I was like, is Puka Nacua the best wide receiver in the league? I right now can't say no.
I said it like last week. The top three might be in the NFC West. In terms of,
I was just about to say, I just brought up the numbers here, and I'm looking at it. In the top 10, the 4 of the top 10 receiving.
The 49ers have 2 of them.
It's all in it. 4 of them are NFC West. Jackson Smith and Jigba is right there. Ricky Pearsall is up there in the top in yardage. Christian McCaffrey's number 9 in yards. So you're looking at this, you're all like, this is NFC West.
Dude,
not easy.
It is not easy.
3-1
and that's why, to me, the fact that the Cardinals are 0-2 in division already seems like a death sentence.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to have won one of your division games, one of your first 2 in a division like this. Now, whenever you have it, if it's week 1, week 4, back-to-back weeks, whatever, but your first 2 division games, you got to split those because otherwise especially because they're gonna beat up on each other like they are. And Rams and Seahawks right now are looking real good. Oh,
I will say
this.
I saw the most, to the Puka point before I throw it to you guys here. I saw maybe the most egregious comment I've ever seen online in the sports comment section in my life. And it was people basically trying to say that Puka is a system wide receiver. And I was like, and they're like, all he does is have great hands and like blocks really well. And I'm like, so you mean all of the best intangibles that you can ask for a wide receiver to help you win football games? Like being a blocking wide receiver is like one of the most valuable things you can do on top of being incredibly dynamic and being he's a special catch monster. I don't know what you guys are talking about when you're trying to say this, but that literally I had to like put my phone down and walk away because I was going to say something I was going to repeat.
I hate when people online will say, remove this one thing. What else do they do? That whole argument is like insane. For instance, I'll bring baseball for a second. It's the whole debate is Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge for AL MVP.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's take away the home runs. What does Cal Raleigh do? Okay, take away the Super Bowl rings. What does Tom Brady do? That's the dumbest argument to have. Take away his spectacular. Take away his hands. How good is Puka Nacua? That's so dumb, and it reduces it. People need to have their like internet privileges revoked. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but there was this guy named Chris Carter back in the day for the Vikings in the 90s.
Yep,
and he was pretty good. He was really good.
Never dropped anything.
And he literally got made fun of almost because they're all like, Chris Carter only catches touchdowns. And I'm like, that's a bad thing?
Yeah.
He catches a bunch of touchdowns? I don't understand why you're... You know what? I'll take it. If he catches only touchdowns, I keep throwing it to him. That's just the way it's going to be. If Puka Nacua has great hands, I mean, he's almost double receptions from anybody else in the league this year. He's got 42.
He's got 42 receptions.
Yeah, like... Next top is what? Christian McCaffrey, one of the top ones.
Jake Ferguson has 34
there you go.
receptions, and then it's CMC at 31. So
pick that guy up for a tight end. But like, you're just
15 more receptions than the next wide receiver.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, has 27. I'm like, are you kidding me? If he's got great hands,
he's got 15.
He's got ball.
Puka Nacua has like 2 games worth more than the next guy.
He also has 26 first downs.
Yeah. No,
when he's not out there, yeah, sure, we have Devontae, we have these other things, but he is, if I'm like, hey, it's 3rd and 8, we need a first down right now, I'm like, where's number 12? Throw him the ball. I don't care what you do, just get it to him.
And you know what's crazy? Is the entire defense is saying, where's number 12? They're going to throw him the ball, and he's still doing it.
Yep.
That right there, best wide receiver in the league today.
Exactly.
And we'll see how the league or the season plays out, but today, best wide receiver in the league. You don't,
dude. I hope he does. I mean, I'm selfishly, I'm like, I hope he retires at 30, like he says, because I don't want him in my division anymore. But I'm also like, I also don't want him to retire at 30 because he can still ball. Like, why would you like?
Also,
cut
also the
short?
reason the reason why he is also my GOAT is because he watches LeBron James highlights before every game. That's like a thing that he does. Devontae's, like this guy sits on his phone and watches LeBron James highlights in the locker room before he goes out for the game, and he's putting up 125 yards a game. So that's my GOAT.
One of these days, we need to actually have Jamison, you and Matt sit down and have the LeBron Jordan discussion.
Oh, jeez.
Like, actually, the two of you sit down and take 10 minutes.
That's one of those things where they're like,
maybe the start of
basketball
equipment
should cost more. Like, that's going to be what that conversation devolves into. But those are things I have. I'm going to throw it to you guys and see if there's anything that comes to mind. I know this is off the cuff, but I think that's also what makes this kind of fun right now. Mike, is there anything right now in the first 4 weeks, first month of football that really stands out to you as like a thing, whether it's real or fake right now? It's a thing.
I'll go out on a limb here a little bit here, and I've been hinting at it like when I was on the podcast earlier this year. I'm not liking the quality of play. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm entertained by football. It's football. I love football. I've played football for literally half my life. Literally half my life.
And bad football is still fun to watch because it's football, because we love it. We'll love it no matter what.
We love it forever. I'm not liking the quality of actual gameplay. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just the players just aren't doing as well. The defenses aren't playing as well. I hate the kickoff. And I just do. Everybody gets the ball at the 35.
That's
my only pushback on that is, again, selfishly, Joshua Carty, when you kick the little knuckleball, I think that right now, I 100% agree. It is not great because, again, you're just setting teams up for excellent field position when you can already kick an easy, juiced ball for 65 yards. And it's okay, what's the point here? But I will say that part specifically could change for me if more kickers start being able to capitalize on just like kicking a dirty ball into that landing zone. Because I do think there's going to be a huge advantage between teams just default start at the 35 versus the Rams. And there was another team in there I can't remember off the top of my head. They are starting more like average field position of the 20 to 25. And that's a pretty big deal. But right now, it's
and
sloppy.
It just doesn't look right. It looks ugly, and there's a lot more returns, and people are like, oh, that's exciting. I was like, and I bring it back to college because we did it earlier in the podcast. I'll bring it back to college again. College still has the old kickoffs, and those are way more exciting to me.
I think too, we're seeing more returns, bigger yards, that kind of stuff. And I also think that it comes to a point where it becomes a little less exciting. Like when it's something just happens over and over again, it becomes less special or becomes less interesting. And
Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer because he was taking kickoffs back in
90
the
yards
where people weren't doing
it. But now it seems like your fifth string wide receiver can go off and break off a 60-yard return, 70-yard return, take it to the house. And it's just not as, I don't know, when more of it's quantity over quality, it feels in a way. Mm-hmm. So I would agree.
And I think it's just been sloppy play too. I think, and the reffing has been inconsistent. You look at that Monday night game, they had 22 penalties called by the third quarter.
And they were already junk games.
Yeah, and they weren't good games to start with. And you have Troy Aikman and Joe Buck who are out there being like, this is bad. Why are they calling these off-the-ball penalties that had nothing to do with the play? That's traditionally something they let slide. And as football players, as somebody that played for a long time, like you knew if you were away from the play, you could get away with holding the jersey a little bit more because nobody really cares because the guy you're holding.
They're not going to be a part of the play.
Nobody's a part of the play. And the same with the other way. Like they could grab the defensive tackle on the opposite side. They could pull, grab, and shove and throw, and nobody's going to call this thing. But now that it feels all ticky-tack. And it's inconsistent. The play's inconsistent. The stars don't feel like they're as big of stars as they should. Saquon Barkley's having a down year, really, for what he was expected to do.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase
Brown's like nothing. Jamar Chase is like doing nothing. And that's quarterback play, obviously. But again, injuries are up, it feels. And it's a question we've been asking. Now, I've answered your question like 5 different ways now. But I think it all adds to that same quality of play. Like the injury, they feel like there's so many injuries this year of major players. And there's so many, like, it's just a talking stream over and over again. And you're just like, this doesn't look good. And I go back to, they're not playing. Most of these guys aren't even playing in the preseason anymore. and they used to play in the preseason and come back out week 1 ready to play. And now the teams don't look like they're ready to play until week 4 or 5. Right?
And that's what I was
You're just now seeing the Eagles start to really come together as a team a little bit because they've been winning in 5 different ways, and they have like whole week offs for parts of their team. You're just like, come on, can we get like these teams to actually come together and play like a team?
And to your point on the reffing too, like before I throw it to you here, Grant, the last thing you want to hear on a broadcast is point of emphasis when it comes to officiating.
Oh yeah,
the dumbest phrase in the sport.
Anytime you hear that calls a point of emphasis this week, I'm like, that's how you just know that this game is going to suck and that the refs are going to play ref ball, because it's either a point of emphasis on the tush push, and against the Rams, that was the point of emphasis, and they were false starting on the, and then there was nothing, and then you have a point of emphasis on what was like the leverage of that Colts Denver game where you missed the field goal, but then there's a weak leverage call, but that was a point of emphasis, so they called it, and then they got a second chance and they made the field goal. There was some stuff, I think they even said it Monday night, I can't remember the specific thing. I think it was like a false start on the center because he was bringing his head up to snap the ball.
He moved the ball forward. Yeah.
Oh,
he moved the ball forward. Yeah, there's a point of emphasis. It actually happened in like 3 different games last week.
And the center's been doing that forever, where they grab the ball and
they lift it up forward. But if they put it forward too far,
and that's just subjective. That's just stupid. Like
he's not moving, like his feet aren't moving, but the ball can go forward so he can snap it back fat. Like
he's throwing it back. Who cares?
Yeah, the center's not going to take the ball and fall forward with it. Be like, oh yeah, here we go.
And one of those calls was at the 1 yard line, right? And so he's like at the 1 yard line, and his ball goes forward a little bit further than they want him to, or something. And you're just like, even in a tush push, his tush is still in the same spot. Who cares where the ball's at? Honestly,
like I'm going to start waking up with cold sweats, and because I'm going to start dreaming of like point of emphasis, and I'm just going to wake up, and I'm going to have to splash water in my face before I go back to sleep. But yeah, that I totally agree with those points. Pretty sloppy. And it is, I think, also just unfortunate how injuries are continuing to ruin the game, and not just because we're losing players, but we're losing key players that are supposed to set up other players for success, like a Jamar Chase.
Or Nick Bosa.
Or Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa sets up the whole offensive line or defensive line.
Yeah, you're losing electric moments because of all of these things. And again, to your point, I think a lot of that ties to preseason as well. Guys just aren't physically ready for that workload. And I understand why they don't do it, because the NFL is greedy and they want to keep adding more games and so on and so forth. And so I totally get it. But Grant, is there anything, first month report card, NFL, what's standing out to you, good or bad?
I definitely agree with you. And my big thing that I would have said to your point, Mike, is just the NFL seemingly just does not care about the preseason anymore. And I think they're paying the price for that with all the things that you said, them taking away a game, and then players aren't starting, and lo and behold, those are players that get injured. So I don't like that. The other thing that I would just say too is I think, like, to me, it's the same with quality of play, but like there's no good defenses are not really a thing right now. There's a couple good defenses, and the rest, or
there's good plays.
There's good plays. Maybe there's like
good defensive plays,
or there's a good grouping. Oh, they've got a really good linebacker group or a good D line or something like that.
Basically, like you're the Browns defense, which is still like unbelievable. And then there's just like everybody else is kind of hanging around.
Yeah, I would say that is something to me, is that. And then I think the other thing too that's just actually coming to me as I said, just how unfortunate that teams don't understand the importance of offensive line. I continue to be baffled if we say it every year, and then every year players go, we can make it work with some Home Depot employees, like blocking, again, our $100 million player behind us that we've invested all this money into. I look at the Raiders. I look at the
Niners.
The Niners,
the Bengals.
The Ravens. I don't have a good O-line apparently anymore, which is crazy to me. Or a good defense, which also is mind-boggling that the Ravens don't have a good defense right now.
Feels that was another one I had written down as like
to me, I feel like I'm in the upside down of Stranger Things or something, because the Ravens don't have a good defense. But just the bad O-line play and just the refusal to invest in it. Like, I don't understand what team just won a Super Bowl. It was the Eagles. What teams win Super Bowls are the teams that protect their quarterback. And I don't understand. And it honestly really drives me nuts, because I'm legitimately afraid that Joe Burrow is going to be this generation's Andrew Luck, where he's this all-world talent. You love watching him play, and he's going to retire by like the age of 30. because he's had all these injuries. And like seeing Lamar Jackson getting sacked as much as he is, and he's mobile. Lamar Jackson's taken a lot of sacks, and he's mobile. And so I would say, actually, yeah, I would say to me, it's the O-line play and just the fact that people don't seem to get it right and don't understand the value and the importance of spending their high-end picks on that because you can't find them elsewhere. That's the thing. People think they can go get the Walmart brand version in the third, the fourth round when like those, they just don't exist. And people think that they can make it work there or not spending money on that left tackle or whatever it may be. And I'm just getting really frustrated with that. And as someone who's watched terrible O-line play for the past most of my NFL fandom, and like I'm now seeing actually a pretty solid O-line, like I'm just realizing more and more like watching what Sam Darnold's been able to do because he has a good O-line. It's holy cow. If we just had this, like we absolutely could have done X, Y, or Z if we just took care of this type of thing. And so I would say to me, yeah, O-line play and the lack of care or attention to that is probably to me the biggest thing.
I think the worst O-line play I've seen this week, I don't know if you guys saw it, CJ Stroud got sacked before
oh my gosh, hand the ball off. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you saw that clip, Mike, but that would be my
Dude,
that would be my sleep paralysis demon if I were
like
you.
High school style.
No,
I mean, they literally
Moses split the Red Sea for this O-line.
Center snapped the ball, went blocking this way.
The guard
immediately goes this way, and by the way, like bumps into the right tackle.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember who was lined up. He's like the
Tennessee Titan.
Yeah, is it Simmons?
Simmons, yeah, it was Simmons.
Okay.
Comes just like right up the middle and literally just tackles him as soon as he gets the ball. And it's
what is happening?
What are we like? I understand like there are bad offensive linemen.
Yes.
But we're also in week 4 of the NFL regular season.
You should know your assignment.
That's A1 stuff.
Yeah, dude, that was training camp was just a couple weeks ago. Like you should remember. I'm really frustrated with O-line play. You're just ruining greatness. You're ruining greatness.
I've seen a lot of different offensive plans and whatnot, but the defensive tackle read option's never been really one of them. They're just they're too fast.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
And to back you up on that is my Niners have been struggling with their offensive line. But if you guys anybody watching this has seen the podcast for our draft, I've been pounding the table for the last 2-3 years that the Niners need to be drafting for that line.
And we're seeing
they're getting old. We're
seeing this
spend your first and second rounders. Yeah,
we're seeing some age in Trent Williams this year.
And honestly, but his win rate is very high still. He's one of the PFF's top rated win rates for his blocking. But we have a 5th round rookie starting at that left guard position that he's having to make up for. Right. Mm-hmm. So he's out there with his 2 hands like this, and one hand's on helping the rookie while his other hand is holding off a star defensive end for the other team. And he's still winning most of those, which is phenomenal. But at the same time, your guard, that's why that should have been a 2nd round guard instead of a 5th round guard. And he's probably doing much better. And that's your point, is we'll just fill in later.
They don't exist. There's not good quality linemen after the 2nd round. There just isn't.
Why do you think the Chiefs were jumping up and down at the end of the first round with Simmons still sitting there? And they're all like, we just paid this backup from the 49ers to be our starter. And we don't think he's never been great, but he's going to be good enough. And then suddenly this first round offensive tackle who's a monster, and by the way, has played great this year, comes in for the Chiefs, who I hate seeing that because I wanted him on my team. 20 picks sooner, and he comes in, he's just like and he's a beast. And Patrick Mahomes, as much as the Chiefs have struggled, like that's a great pick for the next 10 years of Mahomes' life. And so people don't understand this is super important.
I'm looking at the
depth as well is super important. I think that's another thing that it's taken for granted is depth at O-line is like more important, not more important than depth at quarterback, but if you need depth anywhere else, like you can make up things with the run game, you can make up things with receivers. If you don't have depth at the O-line, one of those guys can go out and you're cooked. So there should be a double emphasis on something where there's not even like half of an emphasis, it seems. It's really frustrating.
I'm looking right now at who's gotten the most sacked quarterback so far this year. Number 1 is Cam Ward at 17. Are you liking what are you liking what the Titans are doing right now? No?
Same thing. They're going to kill that kid.
Second one is Lamar Jackson. I don't like what the Ravens are doing right now at all. He's
By
the
the way,
second most
Lamar, I don't
sacked
think we mentioned it, out for at least a couple weeks with a hamstring.
2 to 3 weeks right there. Kyler Murray, the Cardinals are 2-2 and they've lost 2 really important games. Drake May, he's playing Patriots up there. And then Geno Smith is the 5th who's leading the league in picks right now. And then you got Justin Herbert, who just lost because they got shellacked on that defense, that offensive line.
Well,
they're
Mekhi
missing
and
Joe
Alden
going down.
So that one I'll excuse that a little bit.
Injuries are ravaged, yeah.
But then it's CJ Stroud, it's Joe Flacco, it's
not good teams.
Like they're not good. Yeah, they're not good teams. By the way, Carson Wentz is 10th, and he's played 2 games. It's most sacked. He's been sacked 9 times. And he's played in 2 games. Yeah. And he's only played in 2 games. Like, and also, look at that. JJ McCarthy is 12th, also with 9. So
and he's played.
They'll combine them together.
Yeah, you combine them together, and that'd be the league leading. That would be the league leading.
Sacks.
But like, you just look at the teams that get sacked. The quarterbacks get sacked. Most of those teams are not good, or they're not doing well, or they're injured. And so that's my big thing. That's really unfortunate, and it really drives me nuts. So
it ruins seasons literally.
Again, the Bengals, would they not rather have Penei Sewell right now?
Oh,
because they still have T. Higgins. You could throw Joe Burrow to T. Higgins instead of Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. But now it's Jake Browning to Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
We've seen how well that's gone besides the one random week that he came in and played.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, look at Jared Goff behind that offensive line. We ship him off from LA because we want a guy who can make more plays. And now all of a sudden, like, you have one down year in Detroit and put a statue behind an offensive line like that, and that guy's going to throw you 5,000 yards. He doesn't have to be the most talented guy in the world. I think Jared Goff is more talented than most, but still,
that was
almost a reclamation project at that point. We were shipping him away and a first-round pick.
I'd have to pay for StatMuse Plus or whatever to see where Jared Goff is because he's so low on this list. So, yeah, he's definitely below 20 to 25th. Doing real good there.
That offensive lines make a big difference. And
hey, man, Joe Burrow's only been sacked 5 times this year.
Jake Browning 7th.
Yeah.
7th.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's my thing. I wanted to have a conversation, but I want to have with Matt, but maybe we can have it here. Mike, and because you're a 49er fan, I'll have it with you. I'm not trying to be a hater or to tap dance on any graves or anything like that. I'm a little concerned with Brock Purdy's play.
Don't disagree.
He has 8 picks in his last 5 games, 9 turnovers in his last 5 games. He's 15 touchdowns, 9 receptions in his past 10 games. He's not doing anything elite. And my thing is he injured? If he's injured, why is he playing in this game that he just played? Or is he just, because Kyle Shannon said he was fine, but up before the game, saying he's fine to go or whatever. But then I go, okay, so if he's not injured, is he bad? Because he's not playing. Like, to me, he's not good enough to be turning the ball over like he is. 8 picks in 5 games is bad.
I don't disagree with you. And to back you up on that is most of the picks have been bad throws.
Yeah.
Like, there was the defense.
Yes.
Sometimes you look at those picks and you're like,
some were not his fault. There was one of those that wasn't.
Of the defensive line, tipped off of a receiver. Mm-hmm. And I think you've got 3 or 4 of those interceptions are that. But for the most part, I was looking at it, there's been some like straight to the defense. And I think part of that is going to be the hero ball mentality. There's so many injuries on this team that I feel, and this happened last year, even people forget, like the 49ers were the 10th best offense last year, ranked. Like they were still good on offense, but their defense was like 31st or something like that. And so you're like, okay, so in these games where things are coming down to the line, Brock Purdy feels like he needs to play hero ball. And we even talked about this with Patrick Mahomes. Like nobody plays well in long stretches when they have to be the hero all the time.
Yeah, I said it last week with CJ Stroud. Yeah.
If you're the hero all the time as a QB, you can only do that for so long. And if your team's not good and it's still not good enough, even that's not going to help you. And you're going to make more mistakes. This is the Brett Favre feature, right? He was the hero all the time, and there was really good weeks, and then there were like 5 interception games. Right. And yes, the really good weeks way outweighed the 5 interception games, but that was still his play style. He was a hero. But to make your point is he was injured for quite a bit last year, had a shoulder issue, I think they revealed at the end of the year. And then coming back into this game, honestly, I think the only reason Brock Purdy played in this game is because Mac Jones was more hurt, to be honest. Yeah. And coming out of the game, since there's a Thursday night game, the Niners didn't practice on Monday, but their practice report, they still have to send out a practice report, Brock Purdy wouldn't even have practiced yesterday.
And that
And
was my
Mac-
that was
and
really,
Mac Jones would have. And that was their release of the practice report.
I'm like,
so
that was
you're looking at that, you're like, that if you got 2 injured QBs and the other guy is like Brandon Allen or whatever, like an injured Brock Purdy is still better than Brandon Allen. An injured Brock
Probably.
Purdy is better than an injured Mac Jones. And because after Mac Jones got hurt, yeah, he played well, but he also made mistakes at the end of that game.
I just there's part of me that I just went. I would be like, I'm okay to take this loss against the Jaguars to give Brock Purdy more rest and throw out a third stringer, so that way he could be ready against the Rams against a divisional game. Because if I was coach, granted, I'm not a head coach. I'm stupid. I don't know crap.
I don't disagree with you. I looked at this last week and I went into it saying the Niners are probably going to lose this game, and I was okay with that because it's an AFC team.
But also, like, the Jaguars are terrible on road trips on like the West Coast. They're terrible. They haven't won like the last 10. So I was like, okay, maybe if we throw out our third string, we can still win this game. But because it's Jaguars, they're not that good. But we save Brock so he can play in a divisional matchup on a Thursday night on a short week where he would have had all this extra time, extra rest, and where I would feel more confident. I would have felt more confident in the Niners playing on Thursday if Brock Purdy did not play. Yeah.
And I would have liked that less. It's like one of those things where it's like, do the thing that, your opponent doesn't want you to do. That's usually going to be the right decision. Oh, I really hope this team doesn't go for it on 4th and 1. Oh, yes, they're punting it. Let's go. You do the opposite. And I was surprised that, Brock Purdy's playing. And at first I was like, okay, does that mean he's fine? Or does that mean like we might catch a break on Thursday because Brock, like, you might be without your starting quarterback because it's a short week and he's coming 2 weeks off of a turf toe thing, which is not like especially as a quarterback, you have to plant and rip the ball. Like I get you're not,
and that tendon sore,
yeah.
And also part of Brock Purdy's game is his mobility, and so he relies on that.
That's a bad offensive line, and I don't disagree with you. I think that is a big deal. I think that, and just to have this conversation I think Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. I think he's above the Andy Dalton line, right? Like he's better than Andy Dalton. That middle of the league, is he a top 10 quarterback? He's probably right near the 10 area there.
He's probably, to me, like the 10 to 13, 10 to 12.
I didn't like the $53 million a year that he got. I was like, that's a little rich, but I understand in a couple of years it's going to be nothing. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. But at the same time, this team, I think it really just comes down to this team is so injured.
How do you stop it though, dude? Like, it's every year. Like, I don't. What is?
There's no.
Do you have to just like completely clean house because it's guys that have injury history to just have a complete blank slate? Like, I know in the past they fired strength and conditioning coaches.
The training.
They've done that before, but I
think some of it is, and this goes back to the like, why does it feel like everybody's so much more injured now? I think we're reaching, and this is a scientific point, and they're pointing out in the Olympics even. I think we're reaching a point where there's not much more humans can do to get faster and stronger than where they're at. We're peaking, and we're pushing our bones and muscles beyond the strength that they're, I say, designed to be, right? Have you seen Nick Bosa's leg muscles? That dude looks like he can rip a truck in half with the way those tendons and hamstrings fire. He is so strong and ripped, and you're just like, okay, so maybe that has something to do with how much power is hitting on that knee, right? Every play that he's out there. Like, how much power is that knee really designed to take that much tension, honestly? And so you start looking at that, but the Niners, and I don't think you guys could disqualify the statement, but they play with an intensity that is so much higher. I think it comes from like John Lynch down, right? Like their GM is an all-time great safety who played hard-nosed, hit you in the mouth football. And I think that mentality and I mean, you look at Robert Saleh on the sideline as an ex-linebacker, and their head coach is an old wide receiver and cornerback, right? Like, you have these ex-players that are coming in and saying, we are going to play harder than anyone else. That is going to be who we are. And I think that takes its toll. George Kittle doesn't take a play off. He comes out there and he celebrates trying to pancake people when he's the off blocker on the backside, because he wants to do his best every play. And I think when you have that group mentality, the team does great and they play so well. And then you have a good team, and you're like, wow, these guys are really good. But at the same time, if you don't have that, how do we balance this run at 1,000% all the time with playing a little smarter, maybe. And I think Deebo Samuel actually saw that the last couple of years of slowing down on his off routes and stuff. Like I complained about it a little bit, but at the same time, you're like, if you're going 100% every single play like that when you're not even in the play, yeah, that's what we want.
What
but
are
at
the
same
returns?
time,
What are the
what
returns on that? Yeah.
I don't know. A combination of all these things. Is that why the 49ers hurt all the time? Maybe there was some curse placed on them for winning the Super Bowl 5 times.
It's the
80s and
post goat
90s.
curse. You had Jerry Rice. You deserve to be like cast away for 30 years
Into
until you
exile
win the
Yeah.
Super
for
Bowl.
yeah.
Something like there's something there, but the Niners are in it every year, and even when they're injured, people are like, "That's a hard team to beat," just because they play that crazy hard. Then there's no give up in this team. Until at the end of last year, there was a give up in the team, and the team will tell you that too. And they looked it; they were just done at the end of last year. But
yeah,
I don't know. And that's the best answer I got for you.
Yeah. No, I think it's just, to me, it's just fascinating that this seems to be an every year conversation with this thing, and it's just, dude, at what point do you like? There's been many times where I'm like, dude, just get rid of everybody and start again. Like that's some.
But they did that on defense.
Yeah, but then the guys they did keep are they
Well, they
did.
Bosa, and Bosa, that was a step wrong.
Yeah,
Tackle rolled up on
it's all
him,
freak
and you
injuries,
need-
right?
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
all. That's what it is.
but
Except for
just,
the one at MetLife, because MetLife is done.
Yeah, MetLife.
Yeah.
MetLife. Yeah, that place is cursed for sure. There's a curse there somehow, some way.
We probably got to
There's a
move
curse
on here for the picks here for this week. We're getting a little long, but great question though, and I don't disagree. That is such a hard thing to see your team just year after year being like, why? And nobody besides Matt and I is going to ask you the question anymore. Why are we getting so many injuries?
Yeah.
And you look at the injuries on the field, you're like, that was literally just a freak accident.
Greenlaw running off into the Super Bowl
field and
Dude,
totally bust his leg.
What is
he was so hyped and he jumped up and he ran forward and just tore his Achilles, right? And you're just like, maybe that's it. Maybe these football players' bodies are just getting to a point where their bodies just can't take what they're trying to do to them anymore.
the irony there too. We're gonna add more games, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we're also gonna ask you to have a more rigorous travel schedule because we're gonna send you overseas and then we're gonna send you back, and then you have all these other media things you have to do, and it's just okay. But
Money machine.
it's a mystery.
Billions speak really loud.
I sure
That's
did.
Billions speak really loud.
Yeah.
All right, Grant, what we got for picks today?
All right, so we've got, not count them, 1 but 2 toilet bowl games this week.
It was a hard week. It was a hard week.
There's really only one really good one that we're excited about.
Do we want to recap where we're at, by the way?
Yeah.
Because we're pretty well.
Okay,
closer
so
together after last week.
I deleted our records, but Matt went 2-3. Then I think
I'm
Jamison
4-1.
went 4-1. I went 3-2, and then Mike went 5-0, baby.
Yeah,
so
the big fiver.
So our records are, everyone is 14-6, except for Mike at 16-4.
And that'll all come back to the center eventually. I'll have a bad week.
It always does, and that's still like nothing. Like in terms of that lead, we were all hovering around that 2 to 4 games throughout most of last season. So let's get our toilet bowls out of the way. So we've got the Giants at the Saints. I will go first. At first, I thought this was going to be obvious. Like I would pick the Giants, but I'm like, the Saints got to get one in here, and they played the Bills close.
They just played Buffalo like right up to the wire. They played the Niners right up to the wire.
And the thing is, they have to win.
Came in and crushed them like they were nothing. What the heck is this thing?
The Saints got to win one in here, but I don't know if I can, like in my heart of hearts, pick the Saints team to win a game. I'm going Giants. Woo. I'm going Giants. I just can't. The Saints are as bad as I think they are, and I know they are. I can't pick them.
Alan Moore's got that offense moving from game to game, though. Like that, legitimately, that's not an easy team.
Yeah,
I'll go next. I think the Saints are probably one of the worst teams in the league. They've actually showed up and played in 3 of their 4 games so far. I don't hate them. I think that defense is so good on the Giants side. Oh my goodness. Neighbors is out. Give me the Saints. I like Scattaboo. I like what Dart did, but now there's a game tape on them. The Saints might be able to get after them just a little bit. Give me the Saints.
Okay.
I'll take the Saints. They've got to win one game. This might be the only game they have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know who had the preview, but this might have been the game we started.
It was me. I had the preview, and I think you said that they were favored in one game. I said they may not win a single game. You said that Vegas has them favored in one game. It could.
Yeah.
Is it this one? I don't know.
I don't remember. It might have been this one. I don't remember
Are
exactly.
they playing the Titans at any point? Because that might.
Yeah, that's free.
They are. That's probably the one.
That's the one game they're favored in.
That's probably.
Maybe I shot my shot here a little early, but I'll take the Saints.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamison.
I'm also leaning Saints here because I do agree. I think they've been like one of the better, worst teams, and I'm a Saints hater as well. So it takes a lot for me to say that I think the Saints can win this game. But to me, it's like the difference between neighbors being there and neighbors not being there. I think you need that security blanket if you're Dart going into this game. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints. They can at least do something on offense that I can envision and see, and I don't really know where we're at with the Giants quite yet. Yeah, sure, you squeaked a game away, and yeah, it was a great win, but
That defense just gave Jackson Dart like 3 short fields.
Yeah,
He had 111 yards.
It's
Like,
the
I'm not
Jackson
gonna
Dart. Jackson Dart comes in. The team's on a high. You get a
Mhm.
win. You're gonna get maybe a little bit of a letdown on the next week.
Yeah, it's like the
right.
backup quarterback coming in and winning the game. It's yeah, let's go. Like the Jets when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. Just
Oh,
the Jets.
Zach Wilson,
Nice. And then it's like
Browning, Jake Browning with the Bengals.
Yeah, came in and
So,
saved
yeah.
that game, and then
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Saints. We don't have Matt's pick'ems yet. I'm gonna assume he'd probably say Giants, but we'll see what he has to say.
We'll get that in there. I'm gonna say no. I'll just go down the list. Now, this is probably the most exciting one for the week. 2 potential NFC playoff opponents. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Seattle Seahawks. This game the time might get flexed a little bit because of the Mariners playoff games. And if you don't know, their stadiums are like next door to each other.
they're like 50 feet away from each other.
So there hasn't officially come out and said anything yet, but it might get like the time might flex. So I don't know what it would be to, because we also don't have the time for the Mariners game yet, but something to look out for. What they should have done is just, I know they can't really do it yet, but they should just flex it to Sunday Night Football, because that's way better than what Sunday Night Football is, which I'm pretty sure is Bills Patriots. That still might be good.
That's not
But-
a bad game.
Yeah, it's not
but-
a bad game.
East Coast bias there.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bucks at Seahawks. We'll go Jamison first. We'll snake it.
Ooh. Okay. This is a tough one for me. I do think the Seahawks have been playing pretty darn good football, can't lie to you. And the Bucks are a little injured, but I think I'm leaning Bucks here.
Godwin's back though, right?
He was back last week, but I
He
think
was.
getting that
Yeah.
first week of rust out of the way. I don't know if we're quite ready for Mike Evans. I know that was like a couple
2 to
weeks.
3?
Yeah.
So I think he's not quite back yet. But Bucky Irvin's been doing really great for them, handling the ball there.
Freaking Star.
Dude,
Yeah.
that play Puka made. Whew,
So
And,
good.
yeah, and Egbuka,
they're looking to be like the smartest
they
team,
got it.
like in the draft. Like,
Yeah, we
for
were
real.
like, really?
Yeah.
Another wide receiver?
It's
And
a little
then
bit of
suddenly we're
reach.
Like, that dude's good.
Yeah.
So-
But really, I know this is in Seattle. Ironically, like the Seahawks have been better on the road than they have been at home. So it's
Mike
kind of like a
McDonald is
weird-
actually like tied for the best
yeah,
away
it's like
record.
the last 10 away games.
He's,
like
he's
you guys
9
are
and 1, 9 and
Yeah,
1,
or something like
or
that.
11 and 1, or 10 and 1, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so for all those reasons, and I also think I've seen more tests, I think, with the Bucks than I have seen tests with the Seahawks this year.
That's fine.
And so I think I'm going to lean the Bucks on that, and also selfishly, I'll be rooting for the Bucks for Rams purposes. So yeah, let's go Bucks.
I have selfish reasons for this pick as well, and I am going to go with the Bucks, but mine's simple. I trust one quarterback more than the other.
Oh yeah, Baker's a dog.
I'm going to go Baker over Darnold. I don't hate what Darnold's done. He's been fantastic. But again, it's who you played against, right? Suspect Niners team, Cardinals, Saints. What are you doing
Steelers.
for me? The Steelers. You're like, go ahead and I'll take the Bucks. I think that interior offensive line of the Seahawks is still a little mushy against the Bucks. Have a decent defensive line, so I'll take, for a couple reasons there, but I'll take the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Obviously, I'm picking my team. You gotta
The pick'em curse.
you gotta pick your team, but I think that this team is actually super complete. They rank second in explosive pass plays in the entire league. So that's plays over 20 yards. They're second in that. And they are first in pressures besides blitzing, like the second least amount. And also, Sam Darnold's only been sacked like 6 times in 4 games. So yes. And by the way, 3 of those came in this game they just played, because up until that point, it was 3 sacks in 3 games. So I think they've pretty much fixed their O-line. Sam Darnold's playing clean football. I don't want to say something too early, but what I will say is that this very much seems to be the Sam Darnold apart from those last 2 games. And I'm even going to say even over those one game, because that game against the Niners, no quarterback is going to play well when they get sacked 9 times. Tom Brady would have played terrible if he got sacked 9 times against the Rams in the playoffs. He had that one bad game against the Lions at the end of the season. But that other one, give me one quarterback. We've seen Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowls when he gets sacked 9 times, they lose, even though he's great and he's incredible. I think there's been a little bit of this narrative those last 2 weeks. Oh, it's a Sam Darnold of old, that kind of thing. Is that what we're going to get in Seattle? Which is why I think teams overlooked Seattle so much. Vegas had them at like 7.5 wins, which I think is ridiculous. That defense.
None of us had that, by the way.
None of you. No.
No, we all had you doing a little better than that.
But I think this defense is a top 5 defense. They've proven that. That front four is probably one of the best. It is one of the best. They pressure like crazy, and they do it with force. So you can drop those guys in coverage. I think they're one of the most complete teams, and they have an identity. And they're not asking Sam Darnold to do a whole lot. They're asking him to go out there and win games. By the way, that's his 5th game-winning drive in the last season and some change. Like, he wins those games when you need him to, and he was like a point away from doing it against the Niners, except for that Nick Bosa play. So
should have been picked. Your DB had no idea the ball was going to come. Surprised.
Yeah.
What? You threw that?
I have the Seahawks. It's at home. I don't think that home field advantage isn't there as much anymore, but I think this team's really complete, and I think that defense is going to give Baker some fits.
As a football fan, I want to watch this game probably more than the other game this week.
Yeah.
This game is going to be a banger. Yeah,
I hope so. I hope it doesn't let us down. I really hope it doesn't, one way or the other. Actually, I do hope it's a blowout. I hope the Seahawks blow them out. But I do think, you'll get to see. I think this is a real test for the Seahawks to see if they're for real. There are a lot of stats to show that they are. I think that they will win this game. Long-winded way to say it. But I guess I'll go again. Next game we've got Commanders at Chargers. Jaden Daniels is supposedly playing in this game. So that's why we picked it. Otherwise, we may not have, and we may have had a third toilet bowl game. Commanders at Chargers. It's at home. That doesn't mean anything for the Chargers. They don't have a home field advantage.
No, it's terrible.
It's also really
Send
far
them back
away.
to San Diego, guys. Send them back to San Diego.
Yeah, for real. Just do it. But I'm going to take the Chargers. I just think Jaden Daniels may have just a little bit of he's been out for a couple weeks. That defense is pretty suspect.
He wasn't playing well before he went out.
He was playing okay.
And I'm going to jump right on you and say I got the Chargers on this one too, mostly because of that. His play's been okay, but there's tape on him now, and it takes a little bit for him to get over that, I think. And
the NFL has adjusted to him, and he has to adjust back. That's how that works.
This Chargers offense is better than that that Commanders defense, and this Chargers defense is at least as good as that Washington offense. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Chargers here, which I see you actually already typed in my field
I had it
by accident.
I had it.
But I think you were just being clairvoyant in there because I'm picking the Chargers for all the same reasons. I think
the profit.
I think Omarion Hampton's going to have a day again in this one, and I just think offensive line stuff aside, I think Harbaugh is going to be able to coach around that. I think Herbert's going to be able to play around that. And to all your points about Jaden Daniels, he's a small guy and he's now been hurt and has actually kept him out of some games. And you have a rust factor, you have an injury factor, and you have a tape factor. And also your roster just is not quite as complete. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Home field doesn't really mean much, but I think I just trust more of what's going on there. And the reality is I don't want to overreact about the Chargers losing to the Giants in the way that they lost. It's a very emotionally charged game with Jackson Dart coming in there. And also you lost one of the best tackles in the league. So those things are going to happen.
And you're going to lose. Great teams lose games against bad teams. It happens.
It's true. The Chiefs every year seem to lose the dumbest game.
They lose a Raiders game every year or something like that.
It's like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Chargers there as well.
Jameson, I'm staying with you since we're doing our snake. Our next toilet bowl is Dolphins at Panthers. This would be the hardest one for me to pick. I'll be honest. I might think this one's harder than Giant Saints.
This is a pretty good garbage bowl. I'm going to take the Dolphins only because they haven't been blanked this year. So that's
something.
That's a good start.
They did blank the Falcons. Dang. Who is this team?
That is true. That is true. So I guess my thing is with the Panthers, I don't know what the path to
Yeah.
victory is. And I know that the Dolphins like just lost Tyreek and that whole thing, but they've been not good, but like still weirdly hung around in that Bills game.
Mhm.
They just are there. And I think there's just enough for them to beat. If you don't beat the Panthers and like you squeaked out this one against the Jets a little bit, like that's your code red. If they lose to the Panthers, is Mike McDaniel still on this coaching staff? Like that, it would be that bad. So I think it's going to be the Dolphins. It's probably going to be one of the more unwatchable games that we'll have all year. But let's go
Thankfully, it will be on
Dolphins.
East Coast time because both teams are East Coast teams. So
Yeah, there you go. Early
can-
game where we don't have to watch
West
it.
Coast,
I,
we can
I'm not
just
even going to watch the NFL highlights of that game. I think I'm just going to look at the box score and then pretend I didn't even see that.
To be fair, I'm just gonna jump on the Dolphins as well. I got the Dolphins here, and Waddle's a number one receiver to me. Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill, you're gonna miss him, but the team, I said this in the past, didn't need him as
and he wasn't
as other teams may have needed him.
He's not. He
So
wasn't lighting the box score either.
No, he hasn't. Fantasy wise, he was okay this year, and he didn't do much last year either.
Yeah.
Waddle to me is a guy already. They're gonna scheme. Mike McDaniel is gonna scheme up to not have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
and they're gonna be fine.
And for what it's worth,
fine for
if
them,
anything,
anyway.
if anything in this game that I would watch for, if I were to set the line for interceptions in this game at like 2.5, I'm probably taking the over. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those kinds of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Grant?
Yeah, or this is going to be the game because he does it every year where Chuba Hubbard comes out and gets almost 200 yards rushing.
I would love
Like,
that. I would love that.
He's got 1 year that he does that too. So let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Dolphins. I can't believe that I'm saying this, but there's not many teams that I would say it with. But I might like Tua better than Bryce. Like I might take Tua at quarterback over their opponent. I'm taking Achane over Chuba Hubbard in terms of skill, and then I'm also taking Jalen Waddle over Ted McMillan.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of where I go. There, it's shocking to say it, but the Dolphins do have a better roster than the Panthers. So I think I'm just gonna go there. Canales, what's his first name?
Brian Canales.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Canales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
also.
think there's a future there.
You think so?
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah,
been
this
too many
isn't Brian
impressive.
Callahan. This isn't like
I can't
Mike
believe Brian
McDaniel.
I think honestly, Brian Callahan may try and he's doing a quick hold my beer for Mike McDaniel over here in terms of being the first coach to get fired. That's where that's trending. But
By the way, I said this in the group chat before we get to our last one here because it does involve this guy, Zach Taylor. I think he's been on like a perpetual hot seat, if you ask me. And he's just been like carried by having Joe Burrow be his quarterback and by getting the Super Bowl that one time.
it's fair.
But for this last pick'em, we'll get into this matchup. I don't think you get fired if you lose this game because no one's expecting you to win this game. But that's another guy where I'm like,
it's those
how do you
three.
still have a job? Yeah,
It's Mike
how do you have a job?
McDaniel, it's Brian Callahan, and it's Zach Taylor. It's those three.
And some of it's got to be the front office of that Bengals. Like, why are you not giving them an offensive line? Anyway, we would talk about that
Yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, last one, Grant.
Okay, so this last one is something different. Because it's the Lions at Bengals, and we all would pick the Lions. So instead, what we're doing is we are trying to see who can get the closest to the score that the Lions are going to run up on the Bengals defense. Like how many points. And so whoever gets closest to the points will get the win, get the dub. Everyone else will get the L. So that's why I didn't zag on anything here because I was like, I'm probably like only one person's coming out a winner on let's pick him here. Matt went first. We got that number from, so we cannot pick his number. He picked 38 points that the Lions will score on the Bengals defense. It's at home for the Bengals. That does not matter. They're this bad. I will go. There's been a number that's been sitting in my head ever since we decided on this, and it was 41. That's where I was thinking that this might get
Interesting.
that bad would be 41. I know that also might put you guys at disadvantage in case you were thinking something like that, but you guys can also not pick. So you can't pick 38. You can't pick 40. 41. Let's go, Mike.
So is
Mike on
this, just to clarify, this is total points for the game?
No. Just that the Lions will score.
Just that the
Total,
Lions will score.
yeah, the total points that the Lions are going to score in this game.
Whoever gets the closest, get that.
Lions are favored by 10.5. And the over-under is 49. So you're hitting right at it. I think they're going to run the ball more. I don't think they're not going to need to pass the ball a ton. This might be a 49ers game where they just, back with the Packers where they only pass the ball like 8 times. Just because you can, because you don't want to injure your quarterback. Give me 35. I'll take the 35.
Okay. I'm just going to jump in because I was going to say 34. Like literally, I had
that was
that
right
number
there.
in my head since the beginning, and I was like,
That's what they
please
scored
don't
against the
say-
Browns this week was 34.
Yeah. And I had the same line of thinking. I was like, obviously, if the Lions were trying to score every time, they could score a touchdown every time and put 60 on this sorry Bengals team. But I do think it'll get to a point where let's get out of here healthy. Maybe let's like rotate in some guys because we're going to beat the brakes off of them. And even if it were one of those things where it's like, oh, hey, look, the Bengals are throwing the ball and Jamar Chase has 2 touchdowns. Okay, they're still going to drop 30 plus. Regardless, they could sleep.
And you're going to run the clock
points.
out, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jamar Chase can't score if he doesn't have the ball.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to say 34. And I wanted to make it clear that it's not because I'm trying to prices right you here and like just.
That's fine. No, that's all right. That's
come
all
right in under you. But,
It's all within that's point spread. Someone's going to be close to someone else. That's how. Yeah. Okay, that is going to do it for our show this week. Look forward to watching some garbage football. Look forward to watching the Bucks and Seahawks game because that's probably the only one you'll want to watch.
Thursday night football is actually going to might not actually be good, objectively speaking, but it could be potentially.
Narrative-wise, it's good. The narrative is good. It's still an NFC West battle.
Is this your guys' rivalry jersey week? It's one of ours. I think it might be because I think we each get 2, right? It might be your
I don't know if it's ours. I actually haven't seen
was
enough
really
lead up promo.
Who's the home team?
I was really
It
shocked.
might be your rivalry. Yeah.
I was really shocked that they're not debuting them at the same time because the Cardinals debuted theirs last week, and I thought that I was like, well, that just makes sense.
Too.
And I was like, oh, well, that just makes sense. The two of them, just Seahawks throw theirs out. But I think it's for the home team, I think is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because like the Cardinals did up their field different, which by the way, did look really cool. I did love if you did see the way they painted their logo was really cool. So like that. So it's looking like I'm looking November 16th for the Rams against the Seahawks. And then the Niners, where'd it go? Is January 4th.
Yeah, late in the year against Seattle.
January 4th. It's that last game of the year. Dang, you guys have to wait all that time to see those jerseys?
Okay. So Miami did theirs this last week, and then the Bills are next week. Okay, I see how they did it.
And we do ours against the Cardinals at some point. I don't know when.
Yeah.
At least you'll get. Oh, I was gonna say if it's against the Cardinals, at least you'll be able to look good and get a win. But
that's true. That's true. Ayo. Alrighty, that is gonna do it for our show this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's gonna be great. Watch some football. Enjoy with your friends and family, and we'll catch you next week.
Have them.